Alright, what is up guys? This is kind of going to be like a dual video. I'm going to go over patch notes a tiny bit. Not like, I'm not going to like pull up like, pull up the patch notes and go over them like I normally would just because the patch notes are really, really short, so I don't really think it's worth it. For the most part, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk about the major changes, one of which being multiclass being removed, and second of which being map rotation. Um, so to start off with, I think multiclassing is the really big one here. And yes, it is finally going to get removed. I've had a lot of people ask me like my thoughts on it, how do I feel, and it is going to be a rather bittersweet like thing for me because on one hand, I don't like multiclassing. I'm not a fan of it. It's not good for the game. It doesn't make it makes characters not feel fun. Like everything's broken for the most part, and then all of this other stuff. However, on the other hand, when multiclassing, I don't die to magic damage and I don't die to wizards. And the problem is, because, I have anti-magic and Iron Will and all these other OP perks. The problem is, whenever I lose multiclassing and we go back to, not having it, it's not like all of the problems that existed before are going to be gone. It's just we're going to go from one problem to another, which is kind of the Iron Mace special. So we're instead of, everybody like, wizard being kind of bad and everybody not dying to them and barbarians not being super OP because other frontliners can contest them, we're just going to go back to barbarians the best character in the game again, wizards super OP again, and, we're going to go back to buff ball barbarian comps. Fighter's going to be bad, rogue's going to be bad, ranger's going to be bad. Ranger's going to be decent, ranger's not bad, but ranger's going to be decent. But, like, rogue won't be very good, fighter won't be very good. Fighter's going to be pretty much unplayable, honestly, in that meta. But yeah, so we're going to go back to that meta, and I'm not really looking forward to that. However, so that's like what I mean in the bittersweet thing is like I like multiclassing because multiclassing takes us away from that meta. However, there are a ton of other really OP things that multiclassing has brought. For example, everybody running Iron Will Anti-Magic Robust, all these characters being ridiculously tanky, people running Weapon Mastery, Pulverizing Prayer, all these really, really dumb builds like Crossbow Mastery, Hand Crossbow Rogues, Slayer Rogues, all of these really, really dumb OP things. However, at least I see the thing is with multiclassing, I feel like it goes from everything can be OP to when we lose multiclassing, not everything's OP, and there's just what few things that are OP. Also, but the thing is, so I've mentioned this on my stream, like multiclassing, was it a failure? I would say so, right? I don't think it did what they wanted it to. I don't think people liked it. I don't think it was very good for the game. However, I do think multiclassing should have given them some really, really good information. And what do I mean by that? Well, every single frontliner in this game, fighters, barbarians, and even bards for the most part, were running some combination of these three perks, at usually two of them or even three of them, and then 90% of people are running Savage Roar. Rogues are running it, fighters are running it, Slayer and Plate, Barbs are running it. Every physical class in the game, like melee class, was running Savage Roar. Bards were dropping 5 of their songs to run Savage Roar. If this isn't the best, like, showcase of, hey, maybe some of these things are really, really overtuned, I don't know what is. When every single frontliner in the game is running Savage Roar, like every melee class, bards are dropping 5 of their songs, fighters are dropping, Second Wind or anything else, and then you have people running Iron Will, Anti-Magic Robust, like bards were dropping Charismatic Performance, one of their their best perk, the perk that makes them able to skip a note on songs to run like these extra tank perks. You have warlocks running around running 4 tank perks, none of their own perks. It's like, if you see that, and that isn't like tell you, hey, these perks are really, really strong, so strong that people are willing to forego like some other really like things that are integral to their class, like charismatic performance or 5 songs, to run them, then I don't know what to tell you. Exact same thing with casters, with Hydra, Life Drain. Every single caster wanted to roll until they hit Hydra Life Drain because Hydra is just one of the best utility tools in the game. It detects invis, it helps stop pushes, it helps push yourself, it helps do all of these things, and then paired with Life Drain, you just have a free Surge Kit just, walking around with you at all points and times. So that is the one really good thing that I think multiclassing has done. It has, it should have shown Iron Mace, hey, these are some things we need to look at. These are some things we need to adjust because they are overperforming. When you have every single character in your game running, robust Iron Will Anti-Magic, and then every single melee is running Savage Roar, and every single caster is running Hydra Life Drain, it's like, man, why are they doing this? Probably because it's just a little bit too good, right? Like just a tiny bit strong. Maybe that's why. Because I really do mean this. Like, maybe it wasn't, like, the same at, like, the low end, like, norms or whatever, because people were trying a bunch of things. But at the high end, if you saw a fighter, if you saw a barb, if you saw a bard, 90+% of the time, they had Savage Roar. Fighter and barb almost always had Savage Roar. If a fighter didn't have it, they didn't roll it, usually. And if a bard didn't have it, either they just didn't know or they didn't have it. But on the other hand, every single fighter, Iron Will anti-magic. Every single one of them. Usually, then some robust Perseverance or Protection from Evil 2, they were running some one of those three, or both of them, like you see me doing here. Bards, exact same way. And I mean, like, I'm not exaggerating. Every single game, that's how it was. That was just the game, right? And it was kind of ridiculous. But other than this, as they have said, hold on, let me pull up the Discord to actually read what they've said, because they shared a ton of notes. So I think they did say they want to implement another form of multiclassing later, maybe like a smaller form. And my thoughts on that are I just don't particularly like it. For example, like if you take one perk or like, one skill or something like that, that doesn't really feel that good to me, right? Because like, oh, like let's say I can just take I just take like anti-magic and then I have 3 fighter perks. Like, Like, I don't really like that for what it is for the game. Because that just doesn't feel like a good enough system. Like, I feel like, because if you're going to do that, what's the point, man? Like, why not just spend your time and effort doing something else that's a different system? Like, talent trees or subclassing or any of those things. Instead of just letting us take one perk or one skill. Because like I just said, it would be the exact same thing. Everybody would take, like, anti-magic Savage Roar, for example. Casters to take Hydra, or, Life Drain, or whatever it may be. Everybody's going to take the same, like, broken thing. Like, okay, nerf it. Well, everybody's going to take the same next broken thing. That's just how it would be. Every single time. So it's just, it wouldn't really be that fun, I think, because I think that's the main thing you want to do. When you design one of these systems, balance, like, yes, balance is important, but however, what should be the most, like, the number one thing is you should, like, do people want to use this system, and is it fun for them? Because right now, it's not that I want to use multiclassing, it's that I am forced to. Because if I don't run all of these perks, I might as well just not even be playing the game. Like, I would love to run, like, like Shield Mastery, Counterattack, like, all of these fighter perks that make me feel like I'm playing fighter, but I can't. I have to run Anti-Magic, Robust, Iron Will, because if I don't, I'm just losing. I'm just not playing the meta, and then I'm losing out. Like, I shouldn't feel forced to play multiclassing if I don't want to. If I want to play my class for what it is, then I should be able to do that. But it's not the case, right? Like, I said, fun should be the most important thing, and they'll be like, oh, well, you like, no one's stopping you from playing what you have, and that being fun. Well, if I play, like, base fighter, and then I just lose to every single class, like, I'm not really going to be able to have fun. Because having fun also kind of implies that you have a fair chance at winning, right? Like, or, like a relatively fair chance at winning a fight, and you're not hindered by the things you use. So, in the future, I don't really want to see them adding a multiclassing system in the future. I think it's just kind of like you say, okay, you know what, this just didn't work, we move on, try something else. I really, really do think that talent trees or subclasses would be the most ideal way to do it. Just make the class feel more like themselves, allow them to do similar things, or like, allow them to do like more specialized things within that class. For example, I've mentioned this before, like fighter, you have like 2 really good skill trees here. You have like, like the shield, you have like the shield fighter, or you have like Slayer, which is a way more aggressive. You have the more defensive build, you have the more aggressive build. Like, lose the ability to wear plate armor, but you do way more damage. Like, you can build into that. Or you have the one that's like heavy armor, shield, blocking, protector, guardian style class, right? That's way more fun in my opinion. But that pretty much sums it up for multiclassing. Not a ton to talk about. I mean, I think overall it's good that they're removing it. There was going to be like another learning curve to go back to playing without multiclassing, because just how the meta is going to shift again. But I mean, it's nothing we haven't experienced before. And then moving on, map rotation is back. I truthfully don't know why they did this. If you guys remember a little while ago, they said they were going to make it so solos could queue every map, but they didn't do that. They kind of just didn't mention that again, so whatever. But they added map rotation, and it's on like a 3-minute rotation, so you can wait for whatever map you want. Thing is, this isn't good. This is exactly, like, I know a lot of people said, like, oh, make it like a really short duration. So the problem with this is it's so short that you don't have to play any other map. You can literally just play whatever you want. So let's say, for example, if I only want to play Duo Crypts, I'm only ever going to play this, right? And it's like, some people are like, oh, what's the problem with that? Well, the problem with that is, let's say you have, now have 18 possible queues, and there are people that only want to play that thing. So now you have your player base split 18 different ways across 8 different regions. So, on NA East, which is one of the more popular regions, you're not really going to have that much of an issue. However, let's say I wanted to queue, Brazil, Sao Paulo, and I want to queue duo Goblin Caves, my lobby's probably going to be dead, right? That's just kind of a fact of life. It's probably going to be dead, and most of the lobby's probably dead. Like, solo Ruins of the Forgotten Castle might be dead. Trio Goblin Caves might be dead. Trio Frost Mountain might be dead. Like, all of these lobbies are more than likely going to end up not having that many players in them, just because your server doesn't have that many players in it, right? And you have all these people queuing different places. It's just not really going to work out in the long run. Like, it's not. That's why this isn't good. That's why if you want to have a map rotation, that's fine, but you need the map rotation to be a lot longer. The map rotation needs to be on a lot longer of a rotation, so people are forced to play certain maps. Which, why should we be forced to play something we don't want to? Well, if you don't want to play a certain map, that's fine. Just swap over and play duos. Or, if you only want to play Frost Mountain, like right now, play trios. When it rotates in a day, play duos on it, or solos on it, or whatever. Just play that map. However, you should not be able to sit here and wait on your map the entire time, because like I said, this just splits the player base up way too much, and you're going to run into way more dead lobbies with this up. I don't know why they did this, but they did. But with that being said, that kind of wraps it up for the video. I didn't really want to make this one too long. I just wanted to really go over the patch notes and things they added. There's nothing else really to talk about. I mean, they fixed, some of the, 2 Warlock nerfs, which is, cool. It'll be good whenever multiclassing goes away. But other than that, they nerfed explosive bottles, and by nerfed I mean completely removed them from the game. But that's whatever. I mean, they were super broken, but I don't think they need to be removed that hard, nerfed that hard. And then some other things, and they brought name tags back. Actually, that's a pretty big one. Which, everybody knew they would bring name tags back. Nobody thought they wouldn't. Once again, that's just a thing they tested that I don't understand the need to test, but that's cool. But yeah, that'll wrap it up for me. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.